Look, we go ahead. Go ahead. Get your little shit out the way, man. Just go ahead. Just go ahead. Go ahead.
See that right there? That's what pure jealousy looks like, right here. This is what if green with envy was a person, it'd be this man right here.
Envy was a person.
Cause see, he talked all of that shit, all of that bo-yang, all of that jibber jabber, and look what happened. Not only did he lose, but he was last place, y'all. Last place. You know why? He wasn't talking to the crown, as he so-called says. He went into business for himself and went full dizzle. And when you go full dizzle, you lose out. And if you know where that reference is from, you're an awesome individual. But he went full dizzle, and he didn't win the championship.
Wow.
But now, as he so-called said, let me get it all out. See, I got my championship back. I'm the current tag prediction champion. Not somebody from the forbidden door who walked in and take it. Me. I have it. But no, the beauty about all of this happening is I know what's coming up. I know we have NXT Stand and Deliver. I know we have 2 nights of WrestleMania. And when I walk away from that weekend, still champion, that will solidify me as the predictions champion. This man right here won't have some WrestleMania moment. He won't be losing that in that way. Oh, WrestleMania. Oh, he finally gets it. No. This ain't how this story ends. As long as I'm here, he will never get it back. Never.
I see you're just going to talk about Dizzle and not even look at me like I'm just going to.
No. You're next.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You're next.
All right.
I just want to talk to Mr. Green with envy for a second. Now, for Jaeger, he wants to talk about and scream about to the heavens about how he got screwed. He made the wrong choice. He chose wrong. It ain't my fault. You'll see why when I mean that he chose wrong. I was damn near perfect almost the whole night. Hiccups here and there, a little bit of road bumps here and there. But ultimately, the title is back where it belongs. And with this championship, and come April after WrestleMania weekend, the destiny will be fulfilled. So you can jump on this bandwagon now and join the house, or you can get left behind. Because Malachi told y'all already, the house always wins.
You know, I mean, are you done gloating? You done gloating?
For now.
Okay, cool. Because see, while I was sitting here in the front, listening to all that jibber jabber, as you so say, that boo-yang that you've been spitting, you said some interesting things. Talked about how I went full dizzle and things went wrong for me. But I've been talking about a prophecy. I've been talking about destiny. Who's to say that I'm not the one who actually won? Who's to say that? Who's to say that? I mean, it's funny because, you know, I think about Double or Nothing 2021. You know, I also was damn near perfect, if not perfect, that night. And that word double is so synonymous because, you know, you get double creates doppelganger. You Scoot. I don't know if you actually truly won because see, there's this saying, you know, in Batman, you know, for those of you who watch The Dark Knight, you know, you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. But see, I'd like to change that to make it apropos to this situation here because I think you either lose continuously watching greatness or you finally become what you hate the most to attain said greatness. And I know I may be going over a lot of people's heads, those of you who are watching, but it's okay because the monkeys in the truck have got some footage for everybody to say, just to show exactly what it is that I mean. And Jaeger, you can watch because see, you, my friend, you were close and you would have won if you went full Dizzle. Is it time? Is it time?
I think it is time. I'm gonna just go full Dizzle. Go full Dizzle.
So Layla Hirsch, Chris Statlander.
I'm gonna go full Dizzle. Legit Layla Hirsch.
Come on, who's going against Hook in this?
Go full Dizzle. Oh, fam, I was gonna pick QT, but I guess I'm gonna pick Hook now. Go full Dizzle.
Jade Cargill and Ty Conti.
Jade Cargill. Go full Dizzle.
All right, so now there is this match.
Go full Dizzle. This is Darby, Sting, and Guevara.
Jurassic Express, Red Dragon, Young Bucks.
Go full Dizzle. Jurassic Express.
Mox and Danielson.
Go full Dizzle. I'm going with you on that. I'm going time limit draw because Dizzle. Go full Dizzle because
Jericho and Kingston.
Go full Dizzle. Edward Kingston.
Face of the Revolution. Ladder match.
Once again, I'm going full Dizzle. Go full Dizzle. Mr. Mayhem Wardlow.
Britt Baker. Nice old friend of Tag. Against the Tootsiest of Tootsies. Tootsie Roast.
I want to go full Dizzle.
TFD.
CM Punk versus MJF.
You know what? I'm going to just go full Dizzle. Go full Dizzle. MJF is winning this match. And
now, I mean, the only thing that's left is the main event.
I'm going to go full Dizzle. Hangman Adam Page. As much as I hate saying this, and I really hate saying this,
y'all are just going to have to
go full Dizzle.
Like to validate him as a champion.
Why go against Dizzle? Go full Dizzle.
Look, I'm glad that y'all can read the writing on the wall because I say the same thing.
As I was thinking about it before, I was like, go full Dizzle. That's where my heart is at. You know,
may I interject?
Go ahead.
You realize the only thing that kept you from going to a perfect score was the full Dizzle groupthink.
Right there. And see, here's the thing. Who's to say that this wasn't my whole plan to show everybody exactly who the real uncrowned champion? See, there was one small wrinkle in that plan. And that's this man did not show up that night. He didn't show up that night.
And this, how do I foil? Please explain.
He would. And look, he could have won. He could have won. He could have won.
I had too much faith.
Let's not fool ourselves. Let's not fool ourselves. Let's understand who the true predictions champion is. Because, I mean, think about it. Who has the most notable reign as a predictions champ? The longest, I might add. The most significant, I mean, think about it. I mean, look, Jaeger had it. Jaeger won it from Scoot. And Jaeger allowed somebody to walk in here and take that title. So, I mean, who's really dropping the ball here?
In the words of the great poet Jay-Z, you made it a hot line. I made it a hot song.
So rebuttal game crazy, I see. Okay.
As your first 2-time champion.
Wow.
You know, you ascend to greatness when you can lose it and get it back. You haven't even been in the realm of possibility of getting it back. You've been last place since you lost it. So whatever this little experiment you think you have going on right now, I hope it's working for you. Because in the words of the great poet Nelly, I am number one.
You know, I'm so glad you're unfazed by this. I'm glad that Jaeger's unfazed too, because it's gonna make it so much sweeter when I take all of this, and just strip you of that championship.
Just like how Carmelo Hayes is willing to put his championship on the line in a ladder match against 4 of the opponents, stand and deliver in 2 nights of WrestleMania. That is 3 opportunities y'all have. And y'all better not miss.
Oh, calling yourself the Grand Poobah and all this, man?
I mean, the real night that we gotta go for is night 2 WrestleMania, to be honest. Because I mean, what are we gonna have? A few hours of championship reign if we win NXT?
Well, no, I was gonna count it all as one big.
No, it's all encompassing.
It's all together.
All right.
Yeah, it's all together. So the points will be tallied between NXT and both nights of WrestleMania.
Ooh.
All one big score.
Fine. I mean, look.
Ain't no problem.
JSB lost the title. You know, that's cool. You know, he's not here probably because that loss hurt him. Pretty sure it did.
I mean, he kicked open the forbidden door.
He did.
Took a championship, and then we threw him right back out. I mean, Scoot threw him right back out to give him his credit.
Either way, you know what? I will congratulate you, Scoot.
Thank you
for doing what I couldn't readily do. Become that first 2-time. So that's fine. You know, real recognize real. And I'll leave it at that. Jaeger.
We're a month away.
I made some errors in betting against the house and betting on the ass. But
I will say this. When we get to it, rightfully speaking, that probably should have been the better decision.
I would agree.
But when we get there, we'll explain it. But
yeah. As Liv just said, congrats are due. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I mean, look, enjoy it. Enjoy it. I'm not going to tell you not to because I would. It's what I do. I'd be gloating like crazy. I'd throw myself a YouTube parade.
I'm still thinking about it.
Nah, man.
But you know what? I'm saving the true celebration for after WrestleMania weekend.
Interesting.
Because just like how The Miz likes to gloat and say he was the first champion to walk into a main event and walk out as champion.
All right. But just understand this though. I'd celebrate fast because that championship may not be in your possession for much longer.
Okay.
Just just nice little a friendly FYI.
That's fine.
But as you said, Scoot, we do got a lot to. I mean, does the buy-in even count at this point to even talk about? But we will.
Because I mean, I have a newfound admiration of Layla Hirsch after the buy-in.
Oh, what, pulling the ultimate heel move of using a ring hook?
I mean, look, I said this before, and I say it again. You ain't gonna say what you said about me and think I ain't gonna do nothing about it.
True.
And then she doubled down. She doubled down on the whole, your parents gave you up for adoption.
Yo, that was crossing a line in my book.
And the fact that she doubled down, and Statlander was supposed to be the face in this situation.
And see, that's the crazy thing about this whole situation, because where does Statlander go after this?
That's a great question. But I wouldn't be surprised if it leads to you cheated, so they might run it back. I don't know.
Well, I mean, Layla Hirsch is going into a contenders match to ultimately lose, because we already know what's going to happen with that.
Yeah.
So that kind of sucks, because it's hard to have that momentum, which I would like. Honestly, I wouldn't have even put her in that match.
No.
Against Thunder Rosa.
I would at least probably put her in a maybe TNT, because at least in that case, if she loses to Jade, it's understandable rather than what they're putting her in now.
Because I honestly would have stretched it out and out, because I mean that the Owen Hart tournament is coming up, so
yeah, I think it's
I would have
May,
probably just
June.
And I would have just waited. I would have just had her kind of go on a string of wins, and then had that tournament. Even if she would have lost the tournament, had that tournament be like her moment where like she's just on fire. But to have like this kind of start-stop,
to try to not only have her on fire, but probably put her in the collision course against Serena Deeb.
Yeah, and that would have been fine too.
Yeah,
Deeb, she's gonna shine in that tournament.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But Hirsch using that ring hook gets that W.
Yeah, most def. And just like this one was pretty much self-explanatory, the other one was self-explanatory. Hook versus QT Marshall.
This didn't even have to happen.
It did not. It did not.
I mean, not to give any shit to QT Marshall, because his behind-the-scenes work is doing great for the talent. But does any match with QT Marshall have to happen?
The issue I have with the way you could tell QT is supposed to be used as enhancement talent, because it's kind of like he's the trainer and you're supposed to beat the trainer, but it never comes off that way. It comes off of, did we have to have this match?
Yeah.
It's especially when said trainer is the one in the match trying to use all like the dastardly tactics to win the match.
And that too.
Yeah. Like, if you're going to do the trainer versus trainee up-and-comer, at least give a more solidified role to QT as the trainer.
Exactly.
Like, he's really just pulling classic heel shit, talking all the trash, this and that, and the third, instead of acknowledging, hey, like, you're coming up, you're doing well, you're doing well in camp or class, whatever you want to call it, and you're doing this, you're doing that. Like, give him little tips, and you start seeing him like progress. I don't know, like, and then it's like, oh, you think you can beat me, like the guy who's training you.
Exactly.
But nah, he wants to just be the classic heel, talk the shit.
And I don't have a problem with like QT being like involved in shit. I mean, granted, he is sometimes a waste of time on a show, but there is some necessity to him. So I can't deny that because the factory would be able to play the same role as the gun club in being that like that under to mid card like heel faction that helps like get other people up, like get the up and comers up. So it's worked for Hook. That's for damn sure. But where does Hook go from this? Because Hook is what been just on Dark Central, like
Well,
like
mainly
fucking Scorpio
Rampage.
Sky.
I mean, yeah, like mainly Rampage.
Yeah, yeah. All of his matches been on Rampage except for this one.
Although to give credit, this has been Hook's longest match.
Yeah, I would like to see at some point he does something with Team Taz. Like he hasn't been with Starks and Hobbs since.
And that's crazy because they're playing strict heel and he's playing. He's getting cheered, but he's not really playing any type of character. He's just being like the silent assassin.
Strict heel when he was first there.
Mm-hmm. That's that in itself. Which I mean, I thought we were gonna get something between him and Cody, when they had that little promo when he won the TNT championship from Sammy. But Cody's gone. So there's no telling what's gonna come of that now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, Hook goes over. It's no surprise. But then the match that I would have argued, the trios match that I argue should have been on the fucking show, is this one.
Hey, I'm gonna say something right now. I'm glad you piped in Jaeger's audio because when we get to that tornado tag match, exactly what he said happened. But yes, this match, when Jaeger, when you picked Death Triangle and Eric Redbeard, I was like, I can see it. But when you also said too, they had the debuting wrestler, I was like, well, technically they did too, because this was Matthew's first match too.
Very true.
And I didn't think about that until the match had started. I was like, well, oh shit, this is Matthew's first match too. But the only thing
I didn't take that into consideration, to be completely honest.
Well, the only thing I'm hating about this whole feud personally is they made Penta transform into this alter ego and nothing's really coming of it.
Yes.
Except that they making Abrahantes look crazy as hell.
Yeah.
This is why I felt that they had to win.
Yeah.
Because he went full like dark side or just like the whole brutal alter ego. And they're still not getting a W out of this.
They still not.
Yeah. And to me, I think that's more so the fault of booking, because I think they booked that portion of it horribly wrong. Which I've said that before when they did the whole blindfolded Pac thing when they had that match. I felt like they should have gone about it a different way, and it's just it felt a lot of it didn't feel warranted. Him changing, Pac doing this, and just it felt like there should have been like at least Murphy showing up to actually make things feel like, okay, we got to do something. And granted, I like Eric Redbeard. It just, this again, something that felt out of place because it just didn't make any sense to me for him being there.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, House of Black had nothing to do with, him. I mean, if anything, Eric Redbeard would have been more in place with helping like Hangman as far as with the Dark Order shit. But this is just weird. Booking wise.
Yeah.
But this match was still fucking good.
Oh no, it wasn't bad at all. But like you said, the way I think the only if we're looking at this 6-man tag compared to the other 6-man tag, Sting, Darby, and Sammy is the reason why that was on the main show.
Oh yeah.
If it wasn't
absolutely.
for Sting, Darby, and Sammy, that's the reason why this was on the, but this would have served better being on the main show rather than the buy-in. And boy, their new entrance together is just amazing.
Ooh. By the
That
way,
entrance,
that House of Black song is definitely in my gym playlist.
like, that's a faction right there.
It is, and that's why I can't wait to see what they do. Because I mean, I'm pretty sure it has something to do with the trios titles whenever they fucking arrive. Because it seems like that's what they're setting up now. Because I'm starting to see the landscape of it now between House of Black, Death Triangle. I'm pretty sure we're gonna get Eddie Kingston and Proud and Powerful, Bucks and Omega, Cole, Fish and O'Reilly. The hell, maybe even Jurassic Express at some point. I guess with Christian, I don't see them doing it with Stunt, but
I think Stunt's you see, I think Stunt's contract expired, and I don't think they renewed him.
Okay, that would make sense.
Okay, fair enough.
We can go on to the main show.
Speaking of Kingston, Jericho versus Eddie Kingston.
So, quick question: now that it's all over with, why did you go with Chris?
Because it made sense.
Okay.
Look, I get them having Eddie win the big one, but if we're going with and this is me just with my fucking Booker's hat on, it made sense for them to continue to build sympathy for Eddie Kingston and have Jericho start to mold more into the heel, because a lot of stuff didn't make sense to me as far as like with the fist bump with Proud and Powerful, which that never came into play at any point in time, especially with it being before right on the Go Home show. And just a lot of things in that match made sense. Like it made sense for Chris to win, because he could have easily egged this on and pushed Eddie even more so, like gloating about, just continues like just poking I won, I told you couldn't win the big one, and then have Santana and Ortiz kind of start to see the writing on the wall with Jericho, like for sure, and then start to see them turn more towards Eddie's side, because it's like, he's not doing anything, he's more about himself.
Considering how the match ended, I can see it now, because Jericho not shaking the hand of Kingston. Now I can see Santana and Ortiz being like, yo, what's up with that, Chris?
It's all about respect.
Yeah.
And that's why when I...
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just saying that's why when I saw him in the submission, I thought he was going to go for the low blow, because I was like, okay, well now, that would have been an out, at least have him cheat to beat Kingston, and then had that kind of frowned upon. But yeah, that was pretty much it.
Overall, I'm glad this was a early match.
Yeah.
Because after a certain match, if it was later in the card, I wouldn't have paid attention. But yeah, I'm glad this was an early match. And
me too.
I think I'm at that point to where I'm kind of over Chris a little bit.
Well, that's the thing with Chris, though. He can take wins, he can take losses. Like, nothing is really going to diminish the fact that he is an accomplished wrestler.
Yes.
Despite how annoying some of these things are that he's getting into, like, you're still going to be like, oh, what's Chris Jericho trying to do now?
Yes, I can agree with that.
Which is why I went with Eddie Kingston for that reason, because Chris can take an L, and we're still going to be like, okay, well, what the hell's next for Chris? Yeah, if Eddie, in my head, if Eddie lost, we're not looking at sympathy. We're just kind of now dismissing him, like, oh shit, well, Chris was right. Like, he just can't win the big one.
Well, that's the reason that I chose Chris, was because Eddie also can't do anything wrong with the fans, because he's such a fan favorite that they're going to ride with him no matter what. And that's where I was going with that. So it's funny that you went with that, because I went with the opposite for the same exact reason.
Yeah. Because I was looking at it too in the way Jaeger was looking at it, because I thought, if this isn't the big one, then what would be the big one Kingston would win?
Yeah. Like, what was it? I think it was Jericho. It's like, look, it's not about like the WWE. It's not W. It's not about the AEW championship. It's not about like this or that. It's not who you can beat amongst those records. It's if you can beat Chris Jericho.
Yes.
So yeah, no, I was just like, yeah, he has to beat Jericho because even if he goes for a title run with the TNT title or even the AEW title at some point, it's gonna be a blemish. Like, yeah, but he still lost to Jericho.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
Like, whether the fans loved him or not, it's gonna be like, yeah, well, Jericho still kind of beat him, which is why I was so happy that he like damn near knocked out Jericho for like the very first freaking hit. I was like,
Because
okay,
he did that. Who did he do that against? He did that against somebody else.
CM Punk.
Ah, that was that match. That's right.
Yeah,
That's
CM
right.
Punk when he caught him early.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was the oh shit.
and I loved his reaction to it too. He's like, come on, Jericho ain't serious. Like Jericho ain't much if he's gonna get knocked out. He's like, you kidding me? Like,
Mm-hmm. But like I said, it was a good opening match, and then of course, you're getting a feel good moment of Kingston getting the W.
That's true. Now the next match, I'm actually happy that I was wrong about because it actually changed my opinion on a lot of things.
Well, the only reason why I was never going to pick none of the other two teams, because considering who has the tag team titles now, I think they want to go into a route of not the mega teams having the titles at the moment.
Yeah.
Because remember when Young Bucks had the belts, actually rewind, when Hangman and Kenny had the belts, it was like, damn, who was going to beat Hangman and Kenny? Then we realized, okay, Young Bucks makes sense. Then when the Young Bucks had the belts, it was like, shit, they was beating everybody. But then it made sense. One of their greatest rivals, the Lucha Brothers, take it. Now that Jurassic Express has it, it can make sense that an Acclaim or Gun Club or
Top Flight.
Other. Wait, who's that?
Top Flight.
Oh, Top Flight. Top Flight would actually make a great next tag team champs.
That's what I'm leaning towards.
Top Flight or Acclaim, but Acclaim keep losing, so I don't know. But it makes sense that some of these other tag teams can get the gold rather than an FTR of Young Bucks, a Red Dragon, or whomever has it.
Yeah.
But
I'm actually leaning. That's what I'm actually leaning towards is next champ probably being Top Flight or Acclaimed, but I'm leaning more towards Top Flight, especially because Darius is back.
Yeah, I can see that.
And and this thing that now, of course, with Jurassic Express, I was getting a little stale on them, not because of them, just because of how they were kind of booked, because it seemed like because of like Scoot said, with all like the mega teams getting these titles, it seemed like they were the premier team that should have had the tag team titles in the early stages. And so it felt like with everything going on, with them not being able to win the big one, they kind of just stunted their growth as champs or as a team in general. And watching this match with these three teams, and then by the end of it, being like, you know what? If we get more matches like this with Jurassic Express, and the same thing with like how they had with Lucha Brothers, they're going to reestablish themselves as like that top babyface tag team. And I think that's beneficial for the tag division as a whole, because if you've had all these mega teams that's at these titles, FTR, Bucks, Omega, and Page, so on and so forth, and then you get to the point where you have these guys being made as they have the champions. It's almost like they broke them down, gave them the title so they can help build them back up, and then have them grow within the division, which is risky, but it works. And by the end of this match, I was like, okay, I want to see what else they do as a team moving forward. So I kind of take back what I said about them not having that championship for too long. I think I
don't still think they're gonna have it for too much longer. I think they lose it before Double or Nothing.
Damn.
Yeah. And only if they hold on to it, then I think they might find themselves in another multi-team match type situation. But I can see them losing it before Double or Nothing.
Well, they did win. I really thought Red Dragon was going to take it. That ref kind of screwed them on there. That ref took too long to get down there to count, but it is what it is. It's fine. Whatever.
What did make you think Red Dragon was going to be the one to take it?
The undisputed prophecy.
Because I felt
he thought Cole was going to win, and he thought Red Dragon.
and I thought that they weren't going to hold those titles, like both the tag titles, Cole with the AEW Championship. I didn't think they were going to hold it for long because I knew that Britt Baker was going to lose that title to Thunder Rosa. So I figured that they were going to want to capitalize on both him and Britt having titles at the same time, especially with how they showed them as a unit, like a month before. And I was like, okay, that might be where they're going with it, but I think they have a bigger plan in mind. And I think that may have to do with ROH as well. So, but we'll get into that shit at some other point when we talk about ROH. But yeah,
the way was it Red Dragon and Cole just demolished Hangman, and the way that whole thing goes. Yeah, that's that. I don't know. That's always like a big flag to me.
Mm-hmm. Now I don't know if we have that flag because we've been programmed by WWE, because that is a WWE construct.
True,
but it just didn't feel like Cole was going to be the one to me. It really didn't feel like it,
and that's mainly because of their storyline they got going on right now. I
agree. If it was just a Cole and Hangman situation without all of the background noise, I probably would have went with Cole.
Same.
But due to the fact of the whole potential implosion of the Elite and all of that, it was like there's too much going on. Oh, speaking of, did we want to mention Don Callis and his whole speech?
The man was looking sharp.
All right, I'm out.
Isn't he always though? Isn't he always? Isn't he always? I mean, look, I think that was basically
thing, guys.
Kenny's return is imminent, and it's closer than I would have assumed. So it looks like it looks like we're about to get that implosion, and we're about to get the culmination of whatever is supposed to happen with Cole moving forward. So
that's why I think they pulled the trigger on it, or they pulled the trigger on including Red Dragon and Cole, because like getting everybody in and then doing this storyline, because Kenny's got to be close. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I popped a little bit when I heard his music hit, and I was like, no fucking way, he's done with the recovery already. And
that would have been impressive.
I mean, shit, right? But he has been the guy to wrestle like through injuries for a while, but hopefully he doesn't do that anymore.
Yeah, because because not only that, but the company is in a situation where we don't need you here. Like, we have people who can hold it down while you're absent. It's not one of those, oh shit, the show gonna fall apart without Kenny Omega situation.
I mean, not to get off topic, but I had no clue that he had been dealing with vertigo in ring since, was it Kenny Okada 3?
I didn't know it was that long.
Yeah, no, there was a small little documentary or interview where he like revealed it. Yeah, Kenny Okada 3 was how long he's been dealing with this vertigo in ring. You know how many G1 matches he's had? Like how many championship bouts he's had? Like all these matches that, like, oh my God, you've been wrestling through that
and performing at a high level,
giving us 5 6-star matches while dealing with that. Can you imagine how he's gonna be once he gets back?
And that's where my head's at.
He's gonna go on a tear.
Oh yeah.
He's
like Don Callis like to say it. He's definitely gonna be Kenny by God Omega.
There you go. For sure. Kenny was operating like Yusuke.
There you go, Don Callis. That is the only time I will give you some credit for anything.
What was that? He was operating like Yusuke what?
Yusuke with the spirit cuffs on.
Ooh, good.
He about to hit that Aphitis real quick. But yeah, one match that wasn't Actually, that was super predictable. That could have gone either way, but I believe was honestly the most predictable one was the Face of the Revolution ladder match.
Yeah.
This was good, and it's funny because normally when you get a ladder match situation, a lot of the speedy guys usually happen to be like the forefront and as far as like the highlights in the showcase. Now, when Scoot came on here and he said, the beefy boy ladder match, that's who this was all about. And I'm glad they went in a different route.
I wasn't expecting Starks and Christian. I was expecting the way it was looking. I thought it was going to just be one big giant beefy boy brawl. So it was like, okay.
Yeah. And
I mean, Starks, Christian, and Cassidy. Sorry. I wasn't expecting them three. I was expecting pure just beef.
We know why Cassidy was there.
It worked out.
Cassidy was there purely for fanfare. I mean, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting him to win, especially with the star power that we had in the match. You talk about a Keith Lee, a Wardlow who's on the rise, the dark horse that is Powerhouse Hobbs, Ricky Starks. I mean, granted, we knew why he was in there, but because I think at that point you have to give Ricky Starks something to do. He's not going to be in a marquee singles match, especially if the FCW title isn't something that's purely recognized. He's not going to be in a singles match that's going to make it prominent for him. So he's going to play a certain fiddle in this match, which is cool. So, and then there's Christian. I mean, he was basically there to play the Legends role, kind of dictating the match and how things would technically go.
And the whole nostalgia of ladder match.
Yeah.
And, kind of like what Yeager alluded to with the tag team title match. Once again, you got the background noise. We had Wardlow and his storyline. We had Keith Lee dealing with Starks and Hobbs. So it was like, well, Keith Lee, Starks, or Hobbs wasn't going to win because they establishing that little beef between that already. MJF, Reeman Wardlow about him not winning the big one and everything. So it's like, okay, well, it makes sense that this is the big one now.
Yeah, and had it not been for that, I probably would have chose Keith Lee.
I think everybody would have chose Keith.
Yeah.
Because AEW also has a habit of debuting superstars and they win.
And I'm glad they didn't go that route because that actually that pulls away from what would be considered as the norm in situations like this. And I think when I talked about Keith Lee potentially winning that FTW championship, I think that's technically the way that you would want to go because it gives them a feud with Hobbs. You get that dream match with those two, and then you get a match that helps boost up Ricky Starks because they have chemistry from what they've done on the indie circuit. So, yeah.
Although I will say definitely that Orange Cassidy was our highlight reel with his creativity of trying to get up to that ring.
Yes.
He did shit I don't think I've seen before.
It's Cassidy. It's Cassidy.
It is.
So let me ask y'all this other question because this is now looking past this match. Are we officially screwing over Scorpio Sky with him going against Sammy Guevara Wednesday?
I want to say
next.
I want to hope that because of the 6-man tag that we're going to get into later, that Sammy will come in there battered, beaten a little bit. Scorpio will just come in there and, sorry to say it, beat the shit out of him. Take that belt, go on a small run, and then probably drop it to Wardlow.
If you talk about small, it's going to be a minuscule because
here's the thing: Wardlow gets his title shot St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, and see that's the thing because
I forgot how soon that was.
Yeah, I was going to say,
and that's the problem because you talk about are we going to screw over Scorpio Sky? Whether he wins or loses, he's in a position where he's going to get screwed regardless. So either he's going to have he's either going to lose against Sammy or he's going to win and have the shortest TNT title reign in AEW history.
Yeah.
which is a slap in the face to him. So it's like and this is why I hate they put him in this position, because it's the same thing as Layla Hirsch. Exactly, Loki.
Thank you, Loki.
It's like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. And that's what I hate about that, especially with Scorpio Sky, because it's like, can y'all give this man something? Thank you. See, exactly my point. Loki pissed off about it. Justice for Scorpio Sky.
Justice for Scorpio.
100%.
And they have to be careful. AEW has to be very careful with how they're treating Scorpio Sky, because this isn't a situation like it was with Big Swole. Like, we can see how things are going with Scorpio Sky, because he has a legit start-stop deal, because it's like you have him go one way, and then you see it seems like it's going somewhere, and then he has a promo on Dark where it's like, hey, I've been putting down these wins, I've been doing this. A fantastic promo. Goes on to go against Cody, loses against Cody or Darby. I think it was Darby. Loses against Darby, and then they put him with Ethan Page, and then he plays the backstage for Ethan Page. So Ethan Page is getting all the shots with Scorpio Sky, is playing like, the escort role, and then you put him in different matches here and there, and it's like you had a prominent start with him, being one half of the tag team champion, being the one person to pin Jericho, and it seemed like everything was going right with him, and then all of a sudden, bam, complete full stop. And now you get this situation where he's been in the running for that TNT championship for a while on multiple occasions and has never won. And if he was upset, I wouldn't blame him. I would not blame him at all.
I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be surprised that he is upset regardless, because like we just said, the writing is on the wall. The only way if Scorpio beats Sammy, the only way Scorpio does not get screwed over is what we're going to talk about with CM Punk and MJF. That's going to be the only way.
I see what okay.
That's going to be the only way Scorpio's, but once again, that's only if Scorpio beats Guevara Wednesday.
I could see that, though. I can see that angle going. And to be honest, since you just said it, I kind of want it to happen. Nothing against Wardlow there.
But that's also another problem, too. This is where AEW has to be very, very smart and very like just on point with what they're doing, because there's a fine line where with this situation anything can go right. You have a lot more that can go wrong, because you can potentially screw over Wardlow with his, because you put him in a feud with MJF, he loses a chance to attain the TNT championship, and then ends up getting in a feud with MJF, which that's inevitable. But where do you go after that? I mean, I think it makes sense to put the title on him, but at the same time, it makes sense to put the title on Scorpio. So it's like, man, that's
what
I'm interested.
I guess we'll see Wednesday.
If you're putting it in general manager mode here, what causes the least trouble or least traffic for storyline purposes?
My personal opinion, to skip ahead, Sky beats Guevara, because you're right, he did have a grueling 6-man tag.
Yeah.
Sky beats Guevara. MJF screws Wardlow.
I hope that does happen, but then there's repercussions post that.
Well, at least we know,
because you still got. Oh, go ahead.
Well, at least we know if MJF screws over Wardlow, that takes that away from that aspect, and it just focuses on these two men, while Scorpio Sky can just go on a title reign and do Scorpio Sky things. He won't have to worry about Wardlow at the moment.
The issue there, though, is that you take away, well, small spoilers, the rubber match between MJF and CM Punk in that case.
I think that's going to happen at some point. Because, I mean, let's put our WWE hats on for a second. Not all Money in the Bank winners get the title. Not all Royal Rumble winners win their WrestleMania main events. So who's to say? I mean, AEW did it too. Brian Cage didn't win the title when he won that ladder match. Ruby Soho didn't win the championship.
Sky won it, and he didn't win his match.
Scorpio, see, so they could. So like I said, if I want to do what's right by the booking, Sky beats Guevara, MJF screws Wardlow. But if Guevara beats Sky, we know Wardlow is gonna murder that man.
Yeah.
And then MJF will probably take that title off of Wardlow. Who knows? I don't know. But like I said, I guess the pieces will start to fall come Wednesday.
Yeah. And
I'll let us get into the MJF CM Punk match before I say more.
Before you put your GM Booker hat on?
Yeah.
All right.
It's coming after this next one, which is the TBS Championship match, Jade Cargill versus Ty Conti.
Shout out, it's Jade. Hey.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Which I hate that Ski Bone had said she's coming out as some superhero, and then
yes,
I forgot. I don't know if it was Excalibur or if it was Jim Ross that had said or maybe it was Taz.
No, I think it was actually JR. But the thing I just did now was exactly what I did when I heard him say that.
Yeah, it was like.
I like how Excalibur came out with like or a Mortal Kombat character. No.
I will say this. Dizzle, you've had criticisms about Conti before. How did you feel about her after this match?
It was better. It was better.
I very much saw a stutter step, as you like to call them.
Her selling of certain moves is getting a lot better, but it's just there's just something that's keeping her from being at that next level where it's like, okay, I can see you put this. Because I mean, honestly, if she would have had all her eggs in a row, or all her ducks in a row, rather, she probably would have been my pick. Yeah, she probably would have been my pick over Jade. But because of the fact that it's just that one thing, and I can't put my finger on it, it just doesn't feel like she's like there yet. It feels like she's close, but she's just not there. And it's the same thing with Anna Jay. Anna Jay seemed like she kind of just paused. And I think after she got hurt, it just seemed like there was like a pause on her end too. So yeah.
Well, hearing from other wrestlers, I'm pretty sure all of us heard it. You do kind of have that slight stutter step because, Woods went into it in graphic detail after he tore his Achilles on the New Day podcast forever ago. He was saying that, my biggest fear was, can I land on my feet again without that happening? Like, can I do certain moves without that happening again? So I guess in Anna's case, you get that injury. It's like, damn, can I still do the same things? Because, I don't want it to happen again. And,
and that's my
just
thing.
Like, prayers and well wishes to Chelsea Green.
For real, she can't catch a fucking break with that arm.
Chelsea Green comes back every time, hurts the same damn arm. Then it's just like, geez. Like, you cannot catch a break, but I know what I mean. Not to mean it in a mean way, but she can't catch a break because anytime her career gets going again, halts again. So,
and it makes you feel bad for her because it's like,
it really does.
Damn. All she wants to do is wrestle, man.
All she wants to do is wrestle.
Just let her be great, man. Just let her be great, just for a little bit. Let her and Matt Cardona do their thing together, man. Just. But Jade looked. No, neither did I. I think it was a good like midpoint for the card. I'm glad that Jade had defended this title on a pay-per-view because I think it makes the most sense as far as for the women's division. Because they had 3 women's matches on this card, including the buy-in.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, this was fantastic on that end because Jade didn't look bad. I'm glad that she didn't go for another Avalanche Jaded. Don't ever do that unless you perfect it. So yeah, I think for this point in time now, it's still not the time to take the title off Jade, even though she still seems a little green here and there. It makes sense for her to have this title, just for the streak and the character purposes. So yeah, and Ty doesn't lose anything out of this. I mean,
she really doesn't, because I mean, if we really look at it, the way AEW do their ranking system, Taka wins the next 3 matches and boom, she's in the hunt again. So
yeah.
And plus, actually, we're gonna talk about the ranking system when we get to the women's title match.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Well, fuck it. Look, Jade goes over. She retains. No surprise there. We all picked it. But next up, something that wasn't so predictable. Well, not for 3 of us. 3 out of the 4. 3 out of 4.
Yeah, the man below us picked correctly on that one.
You know.
So let me ask you this, Jaeger. Was it the beatdown that made you pick Punk?
It wasn't just the beatdown. It was, I'm looking for a whole story out of this. Like, I want a full and complete story out of this. Like, if MJF won here, that's it. It's done. It's like, okay, he's
the winner, yeah.
Yeah, no, but there was so much going on, be it with the tension with Wardlow and MJF, the fact that MJF gave an incredible promo that was honestly just some bullshit at the by the end of it, before, as you saw in the Go Home show. I mean,
well, he never said it wasn't true.
That's true. He did actually confirm that it was when Punk came out to confront him about it. So, I mean, look, that kind of adds more of a layer to MJF and his character. But I want this to go as long as it can, to be honest. And the way
do they run it back now, or do they run it back later?
Well, you see, with Wardlow winning, the way I'm booking it now, Wardlow goes for the immediate revenge against I'm sorry, not Wardlow. MJF goes for the immediate revenge against Wardlow. Punk aspires to take the belt off Hangman.
Okay.
As rough as this might sound, I think Punk does, or whoever either takes the belt off Hangman or whoever beats Hangman. And then you get MJF versus Punk for round 3, where MJF actually takes that belt.
What you think, Dizzle, with your Booker hat on?
Dude, this is interesting because I had been stating that I didn't see Hangman having a long title run, but of course, and we'll probably get into it during the main event, but this whole lead up to this card and this card itself let me see that they had bigger plans for Hangman along the way. Kind of the same way that I talked about with Jurassic Express with the title. Hangman's going to go through the ringer. And Punk is a factor as far as taking that title off him, but I think there may be 2 other people. I don't know who yet, but there may be 2 other people that play a factor in taking this title off of Hangman. And it's definitely, and one of them is not Cole. At this point in time. Because you're going to have a lot of people that's ingrained in other things at rather like right now, like going forward.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes sense for that to happen, but there's a part of me that's telling me that that's not going to happen, at least not in that way. I don't think Punk, as of right now, I don't think Punk is the one that takes that title off of Hangman. Unless they kind of have the straight edge stuff going into play with Hangman drinking and stuff like that. If that happens to be a thing, and then he kind of goes into his old-ish CM Punk bag, but I don't see. That's the thing, because you can't have a heelish Punk go against MJF, and that's why it's weird.
Yeah.
The reason I'm leaning more towards Punk taking that belt off Hangman is because Punk threw himself in the conversation when he interrupted, or he came out during MJF's promo that MJF was going to be on the rise to take that belt.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which, like, that's what started this whole feud to begin with. And from here, I honestly see it that Punk, since he just, halted all of MJF's aspirations there, you can see he goes for something greater. And what better time for MJF to get his sweet revenge or like or do the tiebreaker victory than make it for all the marbles as far as the company is concerned.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, it makes sense for Punk to drop it to MJF, because in the long run, you think about, what he does for MJF. It's like, yeah, this win, he could have won the dog collar match. He would have done it, but it's like, what's the best way as far as the whole storyline as a whole, leading up to, like, the whole backstory MJF and Punk, and then getting to that culmination. It's like, the best way that I can repay MJF is to, do the job for him with the title. So, so yeah.
I'm curious what made y'all lean towards MJF.
What's that again?
What made y'all lean toward MJF winning?
Because I figured it was the best way to get them away from each other. Have MJF just, and then have Punk go his separate way.
And you wanted to be over already.
Because
for now.
originally, the way I was booking it in my head until Dizzle brought it up, I thought MJF was going to be the next to challenge Hangman. But then when Dizzle brought up Wardlow winning the ladder match and Wardlow potentially getting the TNT title, that's when it was like, oh, well, I can see MJF and Wardlow for the TNT championship. But I was thinking MJF versus Hangman was going to be next.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely didn't see MJF next for Hangman. It's like, because at first I did. I was like, okay, that's the person going to take it off. But then as things were going with him and Wardlow, I was like, well, they're not going to write that off that soon, because even if he finishes with Punk now, they still got to deal with Wardlow. Because that, like, they're not gonna stretch that out even further, because it's already getting to the point where it's like, yo, you either pull the trigger on this like soon, or you give up on it altogether. And the ladder match was the one thing that told me, like, oh yeah, Wardlow's gonna win. It is Tuesday, so wait, you're watching.
Yo,
who came out?
Dolph Ziggler just won the NXT championship.
What?
Yo. Thanks to Robert Roode, Dolph Ziggler just won the NXT championship.
Oh my god! This is where I documented right here. This is the moment that I go back to watching NXT. This moment here, because my boy Ziggs finally getting some respect on his goddamn name. Okay.
My bad, okay. I'm sorry. That just
no. You have blessed me with some fantastic news.
That is beautiful news.
Yeah, Bobby Roode came. He's always Bobby Roode. He came out, snatched the ref off of one pin. Then they hit Braun Breaker with a bunch of moves. He kicked out, and then Ciampa was about to hit Braun with a knee, Rude snatched him out the ring, and then Ziggs hit Tommaso with a super kick and got the 3 count.
Damn.
That is
NXT?
wild.
Okay. What was that? That's the main event, right?
Yeah, it was the main event. Because this wasn't technically a theme show as well.
Oh, okay.
It was NXT Roadblock. All right, but yeah, dog collar match.
Oh yeah. But yeah, Punk won. Wardlow came out.
It was a bloody good time, boy.
It was, and this damn show had a lot of it.
That I did not expect Punk to bleed like a fucking water hose, though.
My brother said that shout out to Mike. He said that AEW has a how he put it? Hold on, I'm gonna tell you his exact words because he was talking because he sent me that image of Punk being all bloody. And then he said that oh yeah, he said that he thinks AEW has a blood kink.
I was about to say bleeding fetish, but yeah, that too.
No, I said fetish. I said more like a blood fetish, but he said I think they have a blood kink.
It's either a blood kink or a blood quota. One or the other. They either out here they either got a fetish for it or they out here they making sacrifices for some shit. That's the price they need to get ROH.
But
I have a theory about Cody and all that.
Okay. Well, you know what? Since you wasn't on the show, I can tell you about the theory that somebody else had too. How do you feel about Punk coming out to his old ROH thing?
Oh, I popped for it. As soon as I heard it, I was like,
oh. Yeah, see, unfortunately for the uninitiated, I was lost. I was sitting there like, okay. All right, so what you got with the ROH thing?
I'm thinking Cody stepped down from AEW so he can head up the ROH division.
That's what it's leaning towards. Because apparently the talks with WWE fizzled.
Yeah, all because of his terrible neck tattoo.
But so I can see that being a thing.
Apparently they wanted him to cover that thing up, and he was like, he ghosted them, apparently.
Yes, okay, well, talks are done. That man wears tattoo and pride, man.
Now, this was also weird about this match because it happened in full force in other matches. Where was the rest of the Pinnacle? Where was the accountability buddy? Where was FTR?
Yeah, because they weren't on the card.
If you notice, though, Max, aside from Wardlow, runs most of his matches single.
True, because he did call for Wardlow to come out there, but considering what they witnessed Wardlow doing, they could have ran out there and been like, but storyline purposes, it makes sense.
I'm just looking at his track record. Like, that's the one thing I do really appreciate is the fact that Max will actually have his matches single for the most part. And I mean, it looks like he's going to be single without Wardlow there.
Yeah, that's definitely. Yeah, I mean, that's because granted they said on commentary that MJF didn't see anything. He didn't notice anything happen. But I mean, you're gonna run it back and you still gonna see the shit. So Dynamite is going. Yeah.
It all depends on what Max says. Come Wednesday night. Oh, tomorrow night.
Yeah. Which is also true. Yeah, I think. I don't know. I mean, I think we get the first feud, feud-ish. I mean, you're gonna have Sean Spears play the fall guy. because I think he might get the first match with Wardlow.
Okay.
Just to get that nice pop. So I don't know if that happens this week or that happens after he potentially wins the TNT Championship. Because I think what's going to happen is that MJF is going to try to play to the whole making a deal. It's like, you know what, I'll forgive this if you go and win the TNT Championship and then you give it to me, type thing.
Mm-hmm.
And see how that kind of works out. Of course, he wins and then doesn't give it up, and then that starts the feud. Because I think what's going to happen is they've been playing that whole thing. You don't work for anybody else. You work for me. You don't work for AEW. You work for me. But now that he's got that, that TNT championship contract, he could potentially, finagle something to where it's like, yo, I'm, once I win this, I'll be signed to AEW. So I no longer work for you, and pull that type of shit.
True.
So
yeah,
that might be the way that they go.
Interesting way of looking at it.
So I think that's the way that they might pull. I think it makes the most sense for that to happen because I mean it's predictable and but at the same time, it plays to the story very well. So we'll see.
It was almost like that whole Randy Orton situation when he was beating up the McMahons and shit, but then he won the Rumble, so it was like you couldn't fire him because technically he has a guaranteed match at WrestleMania. So it's like, yeah, MJF, you can fire me, but I have a guaranteed TNT title match, so whatever.
So yeah, try that shit elsewhere. Not here. So yeah, I think it's pretty much just a matter of seeing what unfolds and seeing who actually comes out on top in both TNT championship matches. But Punk does go over. It's the right call as far as based on what Yeager's saying too. If they're planning on something down the line with the AEW Championship, so it's not something that they're trying to pull the trigger on immediately. It's something that's going to be a slow burn where it kind of separates them and then brings them back together. So yeah, so I'm cool with that. But
I mean, now this is me fantasy booking out the ass here. You could have Wardlow go on to win the TNT title. And to cap off his feud with MJF, MJF wins the TNT title off of him. Punk goes on, wins the AEW belt. And then you have MJF be your first double champion.
That could be interesting.
I know that's not really a thing anymore, but it'd be cool to see.
Well, he would be the first.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true.
But yeah, that's me just fantasy booking the hell out of it.
No, it's still fine though. It works. I do. I mean, see, that's the thing about MJF. MJF has a lot of room, like for anything. Like you can slot him anywhere, and he can make it work, which is what's good about him.
Truth.
But yeah, so I think it's just waiting to see what the fuck happens. But talk about waiting to see what the fuck happens. Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa.
Now, per our rules and per our predictions, when it came to this match, Yeager and I was at a tie. And the way we picked for the rest of the night, the winner of this match was going to win the night. And I can only imagine Yeager getting progressively pissed because they did everything to screw over Thunder Rosa.
Basically.
Everything.
Every little trick, every little thing. And like you just said, as it kept happening, I'm like, no. I'm over here at work throwing a small temper tantrum, and my partner's looking at me like, the fuck is going on?
But yeah, they did everything. Honestly, at that point, if Thunder Rosa would have came out as the got the W and won, that would have shocked the shit out of me.
Yeah, same.
Oh no, I would have sung all the high praises. I would have been like, "This woman can't be beat. You guys are full of shit." I would have been like, "On the highest of highs," and you picked the biggest fucking horse. I would have put another one on top of it and been like, "This is my high horse."
Love it. Now, with this being said, I hated that they done this match and then potentially going to run it back.
I feel like TK talked to Thunder Rosa and was like, "Look, you can either win it at the pay-per-view in Florida or win it in San Antonio."
Mm-hmm.
But not on a pay-per-view, but on a TV special.
Oh, also too, AEW, thank you for changing that women's championship.
Oh man, the new one. Woo.
Thank you for changing that championship.
I mean, it was an improvement from the previous. The current one was definitely an improvement, but this new one, though,
yes.
I mean,
recognize that though.
I mean, look, man, look, y'all have to look. Okay, y'all got to respect the small belt, man.
No, I'm good.
Respect the Rio size belt, man.
I'm good.
Respect that what do they call them? The pennies that you smash.
Oh,
the souvenir pennies.
Yeah, I can't think of the yeah.
That's what that that front plate looks like. But yeah, no, the title is actually fairly nice. But again, it's one of those situations where it's like, okay, well, Britt Baker's going to have this title for a little bit, so that way, she can carry the new title, just so that way she can give it up to Thunder Rosa, and it makes sense. But again, the reason why I didn't pick Thunder Rosa to win, because it didn't feel like it was her time. Like, we all said that she was going to be the one to take it off of Britt Baker, but the build to this match in particular did not scream, "Oh yeah, it's going to be a title change." And
that's why we all went with DMD, because it was like it didn't feel like a title change.
Yeah, I mean, I went against my better judgment. I was like, look, they didn't build it up the best way, but this is time. But I can see how you give this a couple more weeks, Thunder Rosa's going to be on a rampage against Britt Baker and Rebel and Jamie Hayter.
Well, also too, like they announced for this Wednesday, we're going to get Layla Hirsch versus Thunder Rosa in a number one contenders match.
True.
So,
and
I feel like you're going to get a very pissed off Thunder Rosa about to demolish Layla Hirsch, unfortunately.
Yes, and how many weeks is it before that San Antonio show?
One. Well, I mean, between now and then, yeah. It's one, because it's next week, because this week is that match, and then next week is the San Antonio show.
Okay. So I can see. So I think what's going to happen, I think when Thunder Rosa beats Layla, I can see them banning Hayter and Rebel from ringside.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, they did everything in their power to screw over Tootsie Rosa.
They did. But that's another thing, though, which they have to be very careful, because they run the risk of making something like this very stale. So they're okay right now because they're pulling the trigger very fucking fast. But yeah. So and luckily enough, it's in San Antonio. Thunder Rosa is going to get a huge pop there. She's going to be the favorite, as rightfully so in this instance, because it's Texas, and come on now. But yeah, so just I hate that it's Layla Hirsch that has to take some type of fall for this. She shouldn't even be in the middle of this at all. But yeah. Now potentially my favorite match of the night, my favorite match and favorite moment of the night. Mox.
Oh my god.
And Danielson.
Yo, so my feed kept messing up throughout this whole affair. But for some reason, it granted me the last 6 minutes of this match. And that's from the pin to the very end. So I didn't get a chance to see a lot of this match of what happened. Like, I don't know how Danielson started bleeding. Like, I didn't get a chance to see much of it.
Now, when I made my prediction and I said a no contest, I predicted the end of the match, but I predicted the end of the match as the decision of the match. I didn't think that they were going to go to decision. I felt like we were going to get a situation like we had before Regal got out there, and they were just going to go the fuck at it, and everybody was like, fuck it, we got to stop this. That's what I saw. They did it nice. You know, Mox had a pin, and it didn't hurt Danielson in a way because he had Mox in a submission, so that's fine. But all that went out the fucking window when Sir Lord Blue Blood William Regal,
Man's man Regal,
just walked out there.
Regal,
walked out there as clean as if he was all as if he lived there for some years. He walked out like he owned the place. Like it was like there was no like he walked out like it was NXT.
Yeah. Yes, he did.
He really did.
He did walk out there like he was in NXT.
And I mean, and I couldn't have predicted this if you gave me all the clues in the world, because it was unexpected. It was this is one of the most expected moments, because you get this situation where you already have a feud that's booming with these two guys, Danielson and Mox, and to have the match that they had. But to come up with the brainchild of just having Regal come out there, and it's like, you know what? Instead of treating these guys like men, like coming out there is like, oh yeah, these are the baddest guys on on the fucking roster. Had one hell of a fucking beat down against each other. And then to have Regal come out and treat them like they're some fucking kids.
Yes.
Like, you talk about how you walk in on your debut and your stock just goes up like that.
But not only did he treat them like kids, but then he also gave them that y'all are brothers type situation.
Yeah.
Because the fact that he got up in Mox's face, did the little headbutt, got Mox's blood on him, and then you could just see Danielson in the back like, ooh, you in trouble.
Especially after he smacked the shit out of him too.
Did smack the shit out of Mox. Like, you gonna shake his hand. And Mox was like, I don't wanna. You gonna shake his hand. And then, like I said, Danielson, ooh, you in trouble. Turn around to Danielson. You too.
You.
And it was like,
Danielson looking at him like, the fuck, man?
Like, honestly, that was literally the definition of stealing the show.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, no, like, I mean, you couldn't get better than that for me at that point. Like that was it. Regal coming out, it was like, oh shit, they got Regal. Like, what the fuck is going to happen? So one of two things is going to happen with this Regal thing. One, he's either going to govern ROH, or two, which is what I had stated when I had sent that message to you guys, is that we got ourselves a fucking stable. He's about to manage the fuck out of these two, and then whoever they bring in. Yeah, and we're about to have like one of the most legit stables in AEW.
Or do you think they do the cliche thing and make Regal a GM of AEW?
Now that did click for a second when he first walked out. I was like, wait, so we got ourselves an on-screen like manager, like a GM. But then but once I seen what unfolded, I was like, no, we got this going on. So I don't know. That could be the case. I don't know if they want to go that route though, as far as like, because I don't think they've ever even mentioned it before, because I know Tony Khan never wanted to be on screen as like that guy. But I don't even know if with him saying that, were they even thinking about not having somebody at all? But you get Regal, it's like if you're going to get somebody,
right?
I mean, it's like having like a commentary booth. If you don't have JR or Ski-Bone, then you need to go get Mauro Ranallo. So it's like,
yeah,
come on. So, which AEW, if y'all get Mauro Ranallo, y'all can go ahead and just kick Excalibur to the side, and
Exhibit can go. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, so as far as the match goes, was it a good match? Like, was it the hard hitting violence?
Yes.
This and CM Punk were match of the night. But you know what? This was match of the night.
Yeah, now, that was with the Regal thing or before the Regal thing?
No, even before that, because you talk about a match where they both just covered in blood. But the funny thing about it is that Mox was bleeding and Danielson was covered in Mox's blood.
Yeah.
And just the way that they were hitting each other, it was like they said, you know what? We about to go out there as if it's our last fucking match. We about to just beat the fuck out of each other. It's like we got so much respect for each other that even if we make a mistake and hit each other too hard, we finna say fucking and keep going. And that's the type of realism, especially with what they're playing to, as far as with all the promos where they talk about, I want to show them what violence is.
Yeah.
They went out there and it was like, yo, we about to go to a fucking stalemate. And I loved the back, like from start to finish, the back and forth with this whole match is what made it, because you felt everything that all the promos were leading up to. It's like the same thing with MJF and CM Punk. Like everything that led up to that point and to get the payoff of the match. Oh yeah. The William Regal thing was an added bonus, a fucking huge cherry on top, but an added bonus nonetheless. If William Regal didn't come out and this match finished the way it did, still would have been perfectly fine. Would have been perfectly fine because it's something that I expected, and I'm not mad at it. So, absolutely, absolutely. I'm sorry that your feed messed up.
Yeah, it got all cattywampus on me, so I was like, no. But like I said, that's the Regal moment.
Yeah, that's a real that's a real bummer. But there's only one of us out of here that really won that prediction. But I can brush that to the side. It made sense to have him win though. Even prior to Regal coming out, it was like, what is Mox doesn't lose jack shit if he takes that L. And I mean, shit, if anything, he gains because now he's partnered with Daniel Bryanson. Wow, Bryan Danielson. And then what do they do? They become like little rivals that are like recruiting people, like the up and comers who have all this talent. And what you're gonna eventually, and what does that do in the storyline? Like, shoot, fantasy book it down the road. You're gonna have Team Danielson versus Team Mox, if they even go to a split, like, which I feel like would be eventual. But to have Mox win that and then continue down his whatever road, it's like, all right, well then what's next for Bryan Danielson here?
Yeah,
it was, but now with whatever the hell Regal's going to be, I assume the two of them are going to be pretty close to him for a good minute.
Yeah, we can see it,
man.
I mean, your two badasses in the company bow down to him in a sense. So
yeah. Like, even if he doesn't join their stable, you still continue with the plan like I just kind of laid out, whatever direction that may go, whether I just called out the whole blueprint or not.
Yeah.
It's very exciting to see what's going on there.
And that's why I'm excited. And you're right. You're right in that prediction, because the thing is, Mox, the only reason Mox doesn't lose anything by winning or losing is because even at the promos, for him, it wasn't even about the win. It's just like, yo, we just got to fight. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's what Mox cared about. Mox came in there like fucking Goku, said, "Oh, you're strong. I'm strong too. You want me to fight with you? All right. Well, we got to fight first."
And which is why this match for me, again, match of the night. So I can't complain. Now one match.
Well, hold on. I guess before we get to the next match, Shane Swerve Strickland is officially All Elite.
Oh, that's right.
That was
the realist is All Elite.
And that's a fantastic thing too, because with him and the way that they debuted him coming out, like they didn't overhype it and make it a big thing. They just made it casual. I hate that Skivone kept having the damn clipboard show on the screen, because I'm reading, I'm like, oh, it's about to be Swerve. Like it took it away from me. But Swerve's already over. And I think his presence is, I don't want to say it's a much needed one, but I think it's an added bonus. Just like with William Regal, it's an added bonus to AEW with Swerve, especially for the mid. Now, that's not to say that he's not going to go ahead and do things in like the main, like as far as like the top of the card. But right now, you're having a bunch of star power come in for the for the mid card scene. Like,
yeah,
we really about to get like a whole just dark horse title scene. Oh, sorry, with the workhorse title scene with AEW's mid card. So I'm all the way excited for this. So yeah. Now this match for me.
All right, so just like how I'm gonna predicted it, I'll be back.
Yo, I was right about to say I'm about to do the exact same thing I did with the match.
That's gonna leave me here with the bullshit. Look, I'll keep this short and sweet, because that's how this match should have been, short. Nothing against it. It's just I felt like if you were gonna put these three guys in a match together, it should have been the match that they had on Rampage. Should have been the match for the TNT Championship, this triple threat. And I think it would have made more sense to have this trios match on Rampage and swap it with the triple threat, because then it would make more sense to have that triple threat. I mean, to have that 6-man tag, have them go all out on Rampage, and then come into this match where you have Sammy win, retain his title, and be completely beaten and battered to go into next week to go up against Scorpio Sky, lose, and whether it be nefarious means or whatever, but for a beaten Sammy, and then have this move forward. So yeah, but yeah, I mean, Sammy went all out in this match. Darby went all in this match. Sting, table spot, good shit on him. You had, and this is the reason why the AFHO is trash, because you had almost the entirety of the AHFO come out there and help try to beat down these guys, and they still lost. They still lost. Why is this a thing? So that's where I'm at with that. So that's pretty much where I'm leaving it. Sammy, I don't know if Jaeger, I don't know if you have anything else to say on that one.
To be honest, I was expecting more to unfold post match, like Andrade kicking Hardy out of this AHFO, but there's still time to do all that. I mean, let's see, Jeff has how much longer?
The 9th. So that is, I think that's tomorrow. So that's Wednesday. So he can technically show up tomorrow.
So the thing that kind of made me think that he was gonna maybe possibly show up was the fact that I didn't know how long he had on his no compete, and B, because of, like I said, post match, you have Andrade. I mean, you can still do this on Wednesday, but you have Andrade just be like, you're terrible for business here. Like these guys are following you, and they're following you into losses. Like the only time they win is when you're not involved. So I am going to be effectively taking over this stable, this company, whatever you want to call it. And like I said, this can still happen on tomorrow night.
Mm-hmm.
But I was really wanting that. So I was really wanting Andrade and Hardy to fall apart during this match, but everybody kind of went their own different direction. Sting, shout out to Sting for putting himself through 3 tables. I hope he's all right. He did limp back in the ring at the end of that.
I mean, I think he did the post show after, so I think he's fine.
Oh, okay.
I would hope so.
I mean, 60-year-old man going through 3 tables. I mean, kind of reminds me of the days when William, but Ric Flair would just let himself get all battered and bloody while he was with Evolution and shit.
Yeah. Look, all respect in the world to Sting, man.
Oh, 100%.
They're letting him do what they didn't let him do in WWE.
I mean, as the fans called it out, like, you still got it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. He's doing DDP yoga too, I'm assuming.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, for me, there wasn't much to say about this match because I didn't want it to begin with because I was like full on bias to have the triple threat for the TNT title on this show, but they never gave it to me. They never fucking gave it to me. So, whatever. What the fuck ever, AEW. I'm mad at y'all for that. But yeah, I mean, this match was what it was. It wasn't as bad as I assumed it was going to be, but I still didn't want it. So, and it went way too long for my taste. But yeah, the main event.
Oh
and
boy!
Just like that.
God damn it!
the main event. It was a main event. I felt this is where I hate how things kind of went a little bit. When you have other people come out to the match and it doesn't really culminate into anything, I just it takes me out of it. And that's what part of this did. When you had Red Dragon coming out made sense. But then you had Dark Order come out and I don't know if I saw it correctly, but I thought I saw Hangman push Reynolds out the way.
Yeah.
And it seemed like he shoved him.
Like BTE covered that a little bit.
Okay.
Essentially, like Reynolds is like, the fuck, man, he shoved us. Like, I thought we were all cool, but Hangman comes in to talk to Dark Order, and he's trying to talk to Alex to like apologize, but he storms out, and they're like, "Hey, man, like everybody else is like, congratulations on the match." But Hangman's like, "Yeah, thanks, but I mean, y'all should go after him. Like, I'm sorry, but yeah, y'all should get him." So there is a little bit of a little drama there, a little rift between at least Alex and Hangman.
Interesting.
Yeah, because I knew I wasn't tripping when I saw it. I was like, he did just shove him. Like, the fuck?
Yeah.
Now, I'm still trying to process how I feel about this match as a whole. Because it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all. Like, there were still spots, but it seemed like the typical match that you would get from these two. Like, it wasn't something that was over the top. It wasn't bad. It seemed like middle of the road for me. because to be honest, I don't know what I was expecting. I think this may have been one of the reasons why I was thinking that Cole was going to come out as champ, because I like with everything that's going on, and Hangman has surprised, especially with the last match that he did with Archer, which I was like, damn, that was fantastic. Like, I take everything back that I said about, leading up to this match. And I think it's because when you have these two guys, like, expectations are set high. And I don't know what I was expecting, but I don't think I was expecting this, because and it could be because of what we had prior to that, MJF and Punk, the amazing match that Mox and Danielson had, and then of course the tag match. You get all that and you get to this, and it's like you're expecting like Kenny Omega level match, just having like, yo, okay, you had all these matches, okay, I'm amped up. Let's cap this whole card off with like the best fucking match to end with. And for that to, for it not to be that, and then for us not to even have like a huge like moment at the end, it was kind of just, all right, Hangman won, shook the hand of Adam Cole while he was unconscious, and then kind of just goes off. It was just, I don't want to say off. It just, I don't know. It didn't get me as hyped as all the other AEW pay-per-views that normally tend to happen and how they usually end. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. I'm still kind of,
to call it as it is. I mean, this didn't really have a month, or even, I mean, it had a couple months, but it didn't have the build that Hangman Omega had. It didn't have the intensity or the duration that Hangman Danielson had.
And that's what I was about to get at too, what you're saying, Jaeger.
Like, this was a good match for what it was, but I feel like the build just wasn't hyped up enough to where, like, because I feel like they only mentioned it once, that about how they used to like fight each other in Ring of Honor. But then they didn't really even bring up how they were both in Bullet Club together. Like, despite the fact that that Jay White showing up does remind everybody that Bullet Club is a thing. So I feel like they maybe missed out on bringing up the history and making it a more important match. However, I was not mad at the match, although, yeah, it's hard to beat the matches prior, being like MJF Punk and, like, I feel like of all of them, Mox Danielson. Scoot?
It was in the same boat of the build-up that Hangman and Archer had. Because you got to think, had it not been for Hangman and Archer having a Texas death match, we would have just been like, okay. And at least in this case, though it wasn't contested on the rules like that, but we knew these two was going to give a good match. But the build wasn't there. Like, they only, 3 weeks at best? 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
Yeah.
So, yeah. I hope they do better when it comes to his next opponent.
Whoever that might be.
Yeah.
True.
So
I gotta say, I feel like it'll be Double or Nothing when / if Hangman loses the belt.
it's a possibility. I mean, they are doing a second battle of the belts. So, but I can see it being Double or Nothing.
Because I don't know, man. I'm really thinking that come All Out, it'll be Punk MJF.
I can see that. But you think they'll give Punk that short of a title reign?
I mean, it doesn't hurt him if he has a short run. It's still CM Punk.
True.
Yeah,
I mean,
they could do it short, but I think what they would have to do is what NXT did with Balor, have him just go through the fucking ringer.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it's been the last, like, what, 2 weeks, maybe 3 of MJF, like, either looming in the shadow, or probably 2 weeks of MJF, like, maybe tormenting or showing up and, like, declaring he's next.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you don't need to do a weeks-long build like MJF giving CM Punk a match against him for that to come back. I mean, Punk will be like, "Oh yeah, you want to go again? Let's go."
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, this match was what it was. I mean, I'm not hating on it. I think I'm more so, again, the build and everything. I don't think this was there, right there. Everything felt incomplete.
Ooh.
That's what I'll go with, because I felt like with the history that they have, like, you didn't capitalize on all the material that you had to run with, because this in itself could have been a fantastic build, and you could have done this within a month. Like, but I think, again, when you talk about, like Scoot said, and it's been like the phrase of the show, background noise. When you have Cole dealing with everything with Bucks and Red Dragon and all the other stuff, especially with Jay White, it's hard to focus on one thing when Adam Cole has his hand in a few other pots. And I think that could be the issue as well. So, and I feel like that may have felt rushed in a way. So, it sucks. It sucks, because this feud deserved way better, especially for it to be the main event on one of the handful of pay-per-views that AEW has. Like, if you would have put this on just like a regular like show or a regular event show, like a St. Patrick's Day show that they have coming up, then I wouldn't have been mad at it. But to have it on a card like this, yeah. So, but it is what it is. It's over and done with. I'm pretty sure they'll run this back, possibly. I don't know if it's going to be for the title the next time, but we'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah. Any final thoughts on the pay-per-view as a whole? Scoot winning the prediction championship, all this other stuff.
It was definitely some hit and misses. The highs were definitely really high, and the things that were considered lows were kind of just like, you know.
I mean, even the lows had their high spots.
Yeah, even the lows had their high spots. Exactly. But overall, it wasn't a bad show. AEW just still has that. These shows are so damn long. And
it was like 5 hours.
It was.
It started at,
if we're counting the buy-in, it was literally from 6 to 11.
Yeah.
5 hours.
So, that's a lot. And after coming off of that damn dog collar match and coming off of that Mox and Danielson, it was like, shit, there's still more show. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I personally don't have any final thoughts on it. I mean, what was said is said. There's some things I wanted, things I didn't get, but it's all good. I'm glad that AEW is still continuing on with being consistent, so it helps me look forward to each and every show.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. I think that's the silver lining and all that. Like, even though there's certain things that I didn't like and that I felt like they lacked on, at least everything's consistent enough for me to want to continue to watch each and every show to see what happens next, because AEW's been fantastic at that as of late with the consistency. So, yeah.
Not to besmirch Hangman Cole, but I kind of would have been happy if that was swapped places with Danielson and Mox.
Well, what if that would have been an unsanctioned match?
That ooh. But then you would have invited elements that don't really need to be there, especially with them.
No, well, but if they would have done it different, we'll have it basically be a lights out match, and just for some odd reason, just have it to where they didn't introduce anything. It's just those two. I think that would have been a nice touch to it. But
yeah,
hey,
you see, but the thing is with their lights out matches, they usually bring in like tables, barbed wire, like things that, like, I feel like honestly those elements would have maybe even taken away from just the greatness of the pure wrestling aspect that it was with them. But
that's why you add the no holds barred element to have it be alluded, because people are going to look for it. But if you have it to where you have that no holds barred match, but you don't add any of the extra shit, you just have them go at it. It's like then what happens is the fans look at it like, yo, they had this no holds barred match and didn't do any of the extra shit. It's like it to where it can warp your mind to like, yo, I never noticed that they didn't do anything outside the rules because of how good the match was.
You know what? You do the no holds barred, you do it as a lights out match, but the only thing that ends up being broken, or the only thing that comes into play that would have been a DQ otherwise, is like the 5 count hold.
Yeah.
Like they're over here like stomping each other on the turnbuckle, not on the turnbuckle, but on the ropes, like doing the holds for longer than the 5 seconds, or like choking them out, or do like whatever the fuck else that a ref would have usually counted a 5 count on. That's just out the window. No weapons, no other outside elements, just them beating the shit out of each other.
Exactly.
Which is pretty much what we got anyway, but yeah, no, I can see how that would have been written better. But yeah, on the whole, I mean, yeah, on the whole, great pay-per-view.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, still fantastic. I mean, AEW still batting 1,000 with their streak of pay-per-views. I don't think they've had a bad pay-per-view yet. They've had bad moments, but not bad pay-per-views.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I'm always down with that. But again, peeps, that's been our recap. You know, we're not signing up like we normally sign off. So I'm just gonna give it 2 sweet to my bros. You already know what to do. So bada 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 bada. Bam. But yeah, you know what it is. Just stay tuned for the other shit. Yeah, they're right there, down there.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, and as always, you beautiful mother effers. Until next time, tag the fuck it.